Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Avengers issue 9, and this was a pretty good setup to what's going to be going on between the Avengers and Namor. I didn't know how it was going to be set up to be like, okay, we just came off the Celestials, so this is going to have to be a pretty big threat, and they set up a pretty big threat. I'm surprised, but also pleased at what they've done and kind of how they've done it. So the issue starts off, and it's actually kind of pretty simple. We see this like Roxxon cruiser going on, and we see Tiger Shark pretty much trying to hijack it. But who's on board? Stingray! And they start fighting off in the ocean. Now, I didn't know much about Stingray before, but I was like, okay, one hero that I haven't really seen much before, and another kind of villain that I haven't known much before, but this is pretty interesting, and they're like fighting in the water, but then Namor shows up and gives him an ultimatum. Either join him in the sea, or leave it forever. And Stingray tries to reason with him, saying he's like one of his oldest friends, I'm sure we could come to an agreement, and then Namor didn't pull any punches. He just beat the ever-loving shit out of him, and said there's only one right answer, and set his war sharks, which they're drawn pretty awesomely. They've got like war paint and even kind of like limited armor on them. It's like not much to really stop their movement or anything, or be like completely armor plated fucking things, but it was enough, and it went in, and it looked like it killed Stingray. And then he asked what Tiger Shark's answer was. He's like, yeah, count me as a hard end. It's like, holy shit, Namor is not fucking around on this. So we kind of cut to a couple days earlier, and we see that it's the Avengers underwater, trying to deal with the whole Roxxon situation that was going on. And they have to start fighting these Atlanteans, and it's kind of cool seeing the team dynamic and everything, seeing Robbie having to deal with underwater, Cap kind of coaching and being the leader on the comms as the kind of tactical dude, and Robbie's like commenting on like, hey, how tough are these guys? I'm like, they're pretty damn tough. I'm like, yeah, they're kind of pulling your card apart, so just watch out, man. As they're doing this, we see Hulk doing her thing, and Thor's trying to get to this one dude who's got this horn. He blows this horn, and this giant kind of ancient undersea creature pops up and frickin' swallows Robbie and his Hell Charger. And Cap's like, okay, we gotta take that thing down and make sure that you don't kill it, because we don't know if it's a god or something, and we don't want to piss these people off more than they are already pissed off. But Robbie's able to use his hellfire to essentially cause a severe case of indigestion within the creature to spit him back out, as he calls himself the human habanero. T'Challa is going in and trying to find the hostages that Namor has acquired. Well, they're the Roxxon employees that decided to fuck with the Atlanteans, and they kind of had it coming, but they're trying to get them to have a sense of justice and everything. Namor, of course, pops up, and evidently there's been some beef going on between Wakanda and Atlantis, and like, what was going on there? I kind of hope there's a little bit more, and they're trying to stop him. We get like Thor, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and Hulk thrown in the mix, but nothing's really phasing Namor. I mean, I knew he was kind of like one of those big tier ones, but I didn't know exactly how big tier, but him going up against all these people was crazy. I mean, Captain Marvel gave it her best hit. He just kind of shrugged it off and headbutted her. She-Hulk just came in like a gamma bomb and just had devastation around her, but he just still popped up and frickin' took her out. But then, of course, Cap came up, and it was a really cool scene because Namor allowed him the chance to speak. That's what I always like, seeing that kind of stuff, because they've got history, because they were in the invaders in World War II, and I just like that he, even in his anger and his rage, he allowed Cap to speak. He's like, Namor, just give us some, I promise you, it will be brought to justice. And he's like, that's just the surface world talk again, because Namor does not trust the surface world at all, even though he's like half Atlantean, half human, and everything going on with that. But Cap's trying to reason with him and everything, and he's like, all right, fine, you can take them. And Cap's looking around and seeing the children in the cage. He's like, Namor, we tried to offer you help. We're Earth's mightiest heroes. We're trying to protect everyone. Why won't you let us help you? And he's like, the stuff that happened on the surface world happened down here too. And then we see that the final host and the dead Celestials affected Atlantis tremendously, as a dead body had like destroyed one of the cities. But he doesn't care. He says, Rogers, never come back here again. It's like, shit, man, come on. You and Steve got all that history. But Namor is set on his path. We then go and we get a little bit more information as the Avengers are kind of left with the Roxxon employees. And we get this story that Namor had went to the children in the caves and they kind of like scattered, and evidently they had like popped up on the west coast of the US and were going to look for aid and everything, but they started choking because they couldn't breathe the air, and that evidently nobody went to help them. And he says that they were like taking pictures and pointing and laughing and everything. So this set off his next chain of events because he feels that he personally failed them. He created a new trench in his rage, which definitely fits with him. And he was able to use his powers and abilities to drown and kill the Roxxon employees in the prison that they were at. And then he set up this like Defenders of the Deep, made up of all these different underwater super people, and that nobody will be allowed in the oceans. They can have their mounds of dirt, but if they ever come into our realm, let's hope that they pray to their gods that they can survive it. I'm like, wow, because he even calls it a holy war. I'm like, this is pretty big, and it's going to take a lot to de-escalate this situation. I'm intrigued to see how this is going to be resolved, because this isn't going to be just a simple fight for them, because Namor's not evil. He's not coming from a place of trying to do it selfishly. He's trying to do what's best for his people, even though going to war with the surface realm and all the people of the world isn't the best chance for that. So I'm intrigued to see how they're going to shake this out and what's going to happen, and if Namor's going to have to switch sides because like a coup happens with these Defenders of the Deep. But I can't wait to see where this kind of goes. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.